Hey, welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be teaching you guys about two equation solution. And for this topic we have a new guest, one of our Sequoia student named Andrew Mancini. Welcome, Andrew Mancini.
Welcome. Good morning, students. I hope you're ready to learn how to solve systems of two equations. There are three main ways we can solve these systems of two equations: substitution, elimination, and graphing. Today we're going to be going through substitution. And the basic concept is, let's say they gave you something like this: A equals B. Then they told you B equals C. Well, by default, A then must equal C, assuming that the values that represent these variables are kept constant. We can apply this relatively basic principle with three letters to these systems of two equations. If we say that the entire variable of y equals all this, what's preventing us from plugging all of this just into y here? Because after all, as we proved from the letters that, of course, we've now erased, y equals this, so we must be able to plug in that.
So now we'll plug it in and then we'll see what comes out, because sometimes if you get this kind of equation when only one variable equals the whole equation, that just makes your life super easy. So we'll see how. So we're going to go x plus 4. And now you got to remember that you always got to keep the 4, and instead of y, we'll plug in this thing. Where we'll go negative 3x plus 4 equals negative 6. Let's go more deep into it, like 4, and now here you got to multiply. Remember, if you ever have parentheses, we got to multiply. So we go, so remember, if there is a negative sign, then we got to change it to negative 12x plus 16 equals negative 6.
Wait, what do you mean? I don't understand why we were multiplying the 4 by the 4. Is that something?
Yeah,
just
because we got to remember that if there is a parenthesis, we got to go both sides. See, that's a great question. Sometimes people might just do this and keep the 4 here, which just messes up the whole thing. It's a wrong thing. So we got to make sure that we multiply the whole thing. If there's a parenthesis, we got to multiply the entire thing. Now Andrew will show us how we go from here.
Well, now we can use something called like terms to simplify this. If we have x and another 12x, or negative 12x rather, we can combine those to say, okay, negative 11x, because that's x minus 12x plus 16 equals negative 6. Our goal here is to solve for what x and y equals. We can't solve for y just yet, but we can solve for x. Going back to what you learned in algebra, now our next step would be to subtract 16. Which leaves us with negative 11x equals negative 22. And if you don't feel sure about this math, you can always plug in your calculator, unless your teacher says you can't. Then our final step would be divide by negative 11, which gives us x equals 2.
Alright, now we got the x values. Now we have 2, we got to find 2. Now x and y, and we got rid of x, so we got to take this and just make it equal to 2. And now once you get one variable, it's super easy. All you got to do is just choose one equation. And all the way, and I mean, you can choose this one or this one, but you gotta make sure that you choose the easiest one for you. Because if you choose, for example, if you choose 2, then you gotta like subtract things and do all those divide and stuff. But now I'll be using this one. Alright, so far Andrew showed us how to find the x value. So x equals 2. We all know that. Now we gotta choose which equation would be easy to find the y. Now we have y here, so now we gotta use this equation, because if you plug in 2 here, then you'll easily get the y value. So now we'll go through the y. Y equals negative 3 times 2 plus 4. We go down. Y equals negative 6 plus 4. 4 does not look good. 4. Y equals negative 2. So now we found both values of y and x. So like I said, once you find one variable, it's super easy to find the second one. And in this case, you could use this equation, the second equation that's given, but it's just going to make your life harder, because then you got to divide, subtract, and all that. In this case, all you got to do is just multiply and divide, which makes it super easy. And Andrew will give us the way how we should check our value if it's right or wrong.
Yes, and one last thing, students, you may run into some teachers who are very strict about how you format your answers. So even if you have the x and y and it looks super clear you've boxed your answers, there are some teachers who will still refuse to give you full credit. So to ensure that you get full credit, you want to write down these 2 points in a coordinate pair, which is always x comma y, as we learned earlier on. So in that case, we plug in 2 here and negative 2, and now we could box and circle our answers. That prevents you from losing credit just because you didn't write it in this format. As Dev said, now what we do with this is plug in these numbers into our original equations. We can do it to both equations just to double check 100% sure that we did it right. So if we plug 2 in back here for the x, we'd be saying negative 3 times 2, negative 6 plus 4 equals negative 2. Does that match? Yes, so this one is checked. We can do the same thing for our second equation. 2 and for the x would be 2 plus 4 times negative 2 would be negative 8. Does 2 minus 8 give us negative 6? It does, which in this case means that our entire answer set is correct.
Perfect. So like just going back to what Andrew said about boxing your answer and putting it this way. So this problem might have about 6 marks on, if you look at IB scale, it's about 6 or 7 marks. If you don't box your answer and also if you don't put in the x and y coordinate, you're going to get 1 point off, even though you got the entire thing right. So we got to make sure that you put it in the coordinate way and you get the right answer. Thank you so much for watching.